One of the things that's so kind of head-scratching about this Brazilian team is all the struggles when they have all this talent. And a lot of the talent is on the Ballon d'Or. We call it a short list, but we know there's 30 players on it. The short list. Among those guys, of course, is Vinicius Jr., who's actually the favorite here to win Ballon d'Or. Right behind him, of course, Rodri from Manchester City. Now, earlier this week, Rodri spoke with our Mark Ogden. Let's listen into that chat.
So can I ask you about the Ballon d'Or? Who was the last Spanish player to win the Ballon d'Or?
We all know in Spain because we just have one winner. He was called Luis Suarez back in the 60s. To be honest, I didn't watch him, of course. Didn't know much about him, but it's shocked, you say? Like, it's shocked that they may be one of the best countries in the history in terms of football, the way they understand we don't have more players that have won it. But on the other hand, I can tell you that individual awards are not as important that collectively. So, but yeah, it's something that I think the people is like, yeah, I think it will be good to the Spanish to win it because the past and we're doing now. But whatever it is, it will be accepted.
I know you're quite an unassuming guy, and you're the last person I'd imagine to start shouting about the Ballon d'Or. But basically, it seems like it's going to be either you or Vinicius Jr. You're so far ahead of everybody else. So how does that feel to be kind of in that bracket as being talked about as being a potential Ballon d'Or winner?
Well, imagine for me, to be in the conversation that the people, when I walk into the street, they say to me, you're gonna win the Ballon d'Or, you deserve it. For me, I'm only a winner, already a winner with this. The people that they believe that I can be the best player in the world and telling me this kind of things for me is incredible. I never dream about this. But once you are in this situation, this position, because a lot of years of work, a lot of trust on yourself and the help of other people, you think about this award, and being there is just unbelievable. So let's see what happens. For me, everything is going to be great, being with my family in this stage. Of course, it makes me illusion to win it. I'm not going to deny. I wish not because it's me, maybe with Carvajal or maybe in the next years, because we have a great generation. We have a Spanish player that can lift this trophy. It will be good for football, and it will be good for the country.
You're a very different player to Vinny Jr. So I mean, how do you rate him as a player?
Well, I understand the debate. I understand the people that says that they don't see what they can see on a winger, on a striker, on a holding midfielder, because we do such a different task on the pitch. And I understand, because football is about goals, it's about the exciting of scoring, and I get it. But on the other hand, I can show you that being a midfielder or a defender is as beautiful as being as a striker, and it has different things to manage on the game. And in my opinion, the holding midfielder is a bigger role on the football than a striker. I mean, think it might be more difficult to score goals. If I think we all agree this is the most difficult thing in football, and there's few players that they can score 30, 40 goals in the season. But the role in terms of football is the most important. So let's say what the people think. I find a lot of people that say that, of course, a striker should win it, and a lot of people say that the job of a holding midfielder is great, to see how they control the game, how they manage to make sure that the team works, and the spirit, because you always have more a team spirit than individual spirit. So it's great to have both,
All right, Gustavo, you're in Spain, but you're from Brazil. So who's getting your Ballon d'Or vote here? Vinicius Jr.
No pressure.
Or Rodri?
my vote is on Vini, for sure. I think that he was the best player last season. I respect a lot Rodri. I respect a lot the position of defensive midfielder. So I see beauty in the playing of Rodri, as I used to see in Toni Kroos, Andrea Pirlo, and so many defensive midfielders. And I think that Rodri had an unbelievable season. But I think that the level of Vinicius playing in the last matches, especially in the last matches of the Champions League, was so high that no one played better than him. So I think that they, with Jude Bellingham, were the 3 best players in the last season, but for me, the highest level achieved was by Vinicius.
If there's an argument against Vinny, Herc, it's probably the Copa America, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But
Because you're voting Rodri, right?
I am.
I heard you say that on ESPN.
I think the people who vote in this don't care about Copa America, and it's sad. You know, or they would carry the same weight as the Euros, which I think is what's putting Rodri over here, and he would get my vote. If I voted today, I would vote Rodri. Vinicius is an incredible talent, and he certainly was a catalyst for Real Madrid in the way they, won the Champions League and La Liga. But it's one of those not so typical years, and it goes to show you just for how many years Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi dominated world football, where it was very clear who was going to win. It was one of these two, but who won the most? Because that's usually what it is. Who has won the most? And if you're going by those standards, it's Carvajal. But I can't imagine the people voting would pick for an outside back.
Look at you with your anti-defensive ways.
I'm not. But
searingly biased striker.
But if you're going to tell me in the history of world football, with players like Cafu, Marcelo, Roberto Carlos,
so you're going to punish Dani Carvajal because there's other good outside backs in the history of soccer?
But could you imagine if Dani Carvajal, if that's the route you're going to go, give it to Lautaro Martinez, who won everything he could besides the Champions League and Copa America, leading goal scorer in Serie A, leading goal scorer in Copa America, won the Cup, all these different things. But it's just the first year where there's no clear candidate, honestly.